So the first thing we need to do to get to work on our toad in a hole is get to work on the sausage, because that's going to take the longest time to cook. So the first thing you do before you do anything else is you get yourself a cast iron pan or any sort of oven-safe skillet, or even like a pie plate would work actually as well. What you want to do is you want to put that into a cold oven. Then you heat that oven to 425 degrees. So while that's heating up, this is getting nice and toasty. Now this is what you need to do. Grab your favorite oven mitt and just stick it here, because don't touch that handle. I have done that before. This is a hot pan, but you want that pan to be nice and hot, because that's going to help cook the sausage quicker and give it a really nice sear. So what I'm going to do is add just a little bit of oil right on into this skillet. Just a little bit, just to get kind of things moving. This is a real little bit. This is the slowest oil pour I've had. Okay. All right. Now, into there, we're going to go in with our sausages. Now, if you want, you could do Italian sausages. I'm going in with, like, classic bratwurst. You could do a bangers, really any sort of sausage you're feeling. If you wanted to go really breakfasty here, you could easily do this with a breakfast sausage as well. So I'm just going to kind of shimmy those or pop those right on into my pan. That's going to start the searing process. And then I want to pop those into my oven. Now, at home, you will use your one oven for this recipe. But here in the studio, there's a lot of swaps. There's a lot of in and out of the oven. So I'm gonna go use a handy dandy oven that you've yet to see. Its name is our handy dandy dumbwaiter oven. I'm gonna say hello. Hello. Okay, we're gonna pop that on in. There you go. Everybody has one of those at home, am I right? Now, what's gonna happen in there is that sausage is gonna cook for about 15 minutes. It's not gonna be cooked all the way through. That's just gonna get the sear going. We're gonna continue cooking it once we add that beautiful Yorkshire pudding batter onto it. So while that starts cooking up, we're gonna make that batter. Super simple. This is great, again, for popovers. You could make it mini in little muffin tins, cut up some sausage and do mini ones, but a big one is a real showstopper. So into my bowl, I'm gonna go in with 2/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. Any sort of popover batter is really, really simple to make. The only thing you have to remember is you want things to be at room temperature, because that's gonna help everything puff up really nicely. So you don't really have to worry about your flour being at room temperature, because it's flour. I'm assuming you keep that at room temperature. 2/3 of a cup go in for that. Then I'm gonna go in with about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then I'm going with about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. If you wanted to, you could add in some garlic powder, some dry spices if you felt like it, just to give it a bit more flavor, but we're going classic today. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna give that a little whisk together. And then we're going in with our liquid ingredients. And this is where temperature matters. You want things to be nice and room temperature or even warm, because basically what happens with a Yorkshire pudding or a popover is the eggs that go into this batter expand. And when they're cold, they don't want to expand as much. So giving them a bit of a head start, making them room temperature, makes it so they're gonna blow up and balloon in the oven and give you like the puffiest, most glorious toad in a hole you've ever seen. So into there, I'm gonna go in with 3 eggs. Again, room temperature if you can. If you haven't left them out at room temperature, you can also always pop them into just a bowl of some warm tap water for a few minutes. That'll bring them up a little bit. Then I'm gonna go in with 2/3 of a cup of warm milk. Any sort of milk you've got hanging around. I always have dairy milk. I'm a whole milk gal. I don't like skim milk. It feels like water. I don't want that. I would just drink water. But if you like it, go for it. But we're gonna go right on into there. And then I'm gonna give that a good whisk together. Now this is almost the texture of like a really thin crepe batter. That's what you're looking for whenever you're making a popover. So you do want it to be nice and smooth. If you really wanted to get out a gadget, not that you need to, this is really simple to make in a blender. Just blitz it up, set it aside for a few minutes just to like relax that gluten. But you do want most of those lumps out of here. All right, that is looking perfect to me. Now, at this point, you could also add in herbs. Since it's a little springy, I'm feeling like I'm gonna add in some chives, because I simply love chives. They're the one thing you plant once, and then for like 4 years, they just keep growing back. Makes me feel like I've got a green thumb. Very exciting. So I'm gonna chop up about 4 tablespoons of chives. About 3 are gonna go straight on into that batter, and then the rest I'm gonna just save for a little bit of a garnish. All right, get those nice and chopped. I'm going heavy on the chives, as you can tell, because I really like my herbs, but herbs are something you measure with your heart. I'm not your mom. Measure the herbs however you want. If you want to put more in there, feel free. But I'm going to go in with most of those right on into that batter. Give that a good whisk. And then we need to pop this onto those sausages. And I think that sausage is just about done. There you go. Perfect. All right, I've got my batter good to go. And then I have got my handy dandy sausages in my fancy oven. Thank you so much. Now at this point, this pan is smoking hot, so do not forget your oven mitt. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop a little pat of butter right on into that pan around those sausages. And this is the fun part. Essentially, all I do is I grab this batter and I just dump it right on top. It looks like it's gonna make a disaster, but it's gonna puff up around those sausages. We're gonna pop that back into the oven. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's hear it for the dumbwaiter oven, everybody. All right, once that goes in the oven, that needs to go into that 425-degree oven for about 20 minutes. It's gonna puff up beautifully and get golden brown, but I'm not done with this recipe just yet. If you did wanna eat this as is, it would be fantastic, but I can never say no to a little bit of cheese. So, I'm gonna grate about half a cup of extra old white cheddar. You could really use any sort of cheese here if you want. You could do a little onion in that too, do some Gruyere, kind of do like a French onion. That would be very tasty. But honestly, sausage, cheddar, chive, match made in heaven. So just give that a little bit of a grate. Any sort of cheese you want, again, is perfect. This is really good with Parmesan as well if you want to go a little fancier, but I pretty much always have cheddar on hand. Perfect. Now, it's been about 20 minutes, would you say? There you go, okay. I was really excited about the oven ding today, I'm not gonna lie. So now we're gonna check and see how this baby is doing. Oh my gosh, do you see this? Look at this. Absolute stunner. Like, out of control. I simply cannot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab that cheese and I'm gonna scatter it all over top of this beautiful Dutch baby. That little bit of batter makes all of that. I'm gonna pop that back into the oven, and then I wanna set the broiler to high. I want that to go for just about 2 to 3 minutes, just until it's golden brown, and you have got the most glorious looking meal that you've ever seen. Like, you set that down on the table. This is really good for 2 very hungry people. I don't know why it's called toad in a hole, but it is a stone cold stunner. Now, if you want to, you can serve this up with onion gravy, but this sounds a little weird. My favorite, maple syrup. I know, even with the cheese, even with the chives, a little bit of maple syrup on there with those beautifully cooked sausages, the sweet, the savory, the cheesy. It is a match made in heaven. I'm gonna do one of these because I just feel like it. But like, do you see how custardy this amazing pancake is? Absolutely out of control. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.